When it comes to a romantic relationship, I'm not a big fan of compromise because when I think about compromise, I think of two people not getting what they want. Now, I'm not talking about something as mundane as deciding what to eat. Like, you want Mexican food, I want Chinese food. Then you're like, okay, let's get Chinese food. This is not a genuine compromise because you're not actually giving up anything valuable. Whether you eat Chinese food or Mexican food that day is not going to make a difference in the relationship. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about compromising on something that is valuable to you. When you do compromise on these things, it's going to be painful. You're going to be unhappy or even resentful. To compromise by definition is to accept something that is less than desirable. And very often in relationships, this is a way of keeping score about your unhappiness. For example, I don't want to go to your family this Christmas, but since you really want me to go, I agree to go for your sake. But that means you're now obligated to compromise for me in the future. Essentially, I agree to be unhappy at this moment, but we're going to even out my unhappiness by making you unhappy in the future. So how are we supposed to maintain a long-term healthy relationship when we're just taking turns doing things that we don't want to do? I think that if you find yourself in a relationship where you have to constantly compromise in order to make it work, then you're probably not compatible to begin with. When incompatibility is present in the relationship, it's quite difficult for people to admit to it because that means they might have to change the nature of the relationship, to change the roles that they play, or to even end the relationship. But when you don't acknowledge this incompatibility and you continue to force the relationship to work, you force the other person to change or you force yourself to change. This is a recipe for resentment. Let me tell you how this concept of compromising came about. Back in the day, when it comes to relationships, especially marriage, compatibility was not a concern. Getting married was an economic decision, and it was to keep two people together, whether they're compatible or not. But the couple had to make it work. So in order to make it work with an incompatible partner, you have to be willing to compromise. For this reason, compromising was necessary in order to keep an incompatible relationship together. So I'm not a big fan of compromise, but I am a big fan of compatibility. In a relationship, compatibility means that we have well-matched characteristics that allow us to work together with little to no conflict. The foundation of compatibility is about finding the right arrangement between my values and beliefs and your values and beliefs, and we put them in the right arrangement according to our boundaries. It's about finding a win-win scenario for both parties where neither one is giving away something valuable or to take pain for the other's sake. So I believe that it's extremely important to find somebody who you're compatible with. That way you don't have to compromise, or to compromise as little as possible. What do you think? Agree or disagree? Let me know in the comment section. Till next time, stay curious.